Aloha, Hawaii, mahalo nui loa, and thank you for joining us this week in yet another exciting and informative episode of Vala'au. I'm Diki Chang. We're here at Kalapaki Beach fronting the Kauai Marriott Resort and Beach Club. Directly behind me is Cafe Portofino, Cafe Portofino, 245-2121. A few weeks ago, we celebrated the 87th birthday, Haole Lahanau, to a living legend here in our Garden Island of Kauai. That, of course, is the beloved Uncle Larry Rivera. That's right, the living legend here on our Garden Island of Kauai. Just before he started his gig up here at Portofino on Wednesday nights, we had an opportunity to catch up with him and reflect back on his wonderful life and, of course, say Haole Lahanau, happy 87th birthday just prior to his gig every Wednesday night, 7 to 9 here at Cafe Portofino. Here's the legendary Larry Rivera.
So let's take a toast and raise your glasses and say, Okole, Okole, Maluna. Maluna. On this island of many races, we are blessed with all God's graces. Everybody, Aloha begins with me. Again, Aloha begins with me. Sing. Aloha begins with me. Everybody. Aloha begins with me. Aloha begins with me. Aloha begins with me. Aloha begins with me and you.
Well, I think I'm going to be 87 tomorrow, September 14, but I'm here at the Cafe Portofino on the 13th. Oh, well, Hawaiians always celebrate 2 weeks before their birthday and 2 weeks after, so I'm early.
How do you feel for 87 years old?
I feel fine. I mean, I can't explain what's happening. I can do the Charleston, I can bend over, I can do anything.
But most of all, as an 87-year-old person, and I say that humbly, I think a lot of people know the plight of my mom. It's not about me, but she's got Alzheimer's, she's got dementia, and you're driving, you're walking, you're creating, you're thinking,
Computers.
You're talking.
Well, I think you always look forward to a project, always have something to look forward to work for, something you want to do and you want to finish that project. Like I write songs, so I wrote Father Damien, and now I want to write a song about Marianne Cope, who followed Father Damien. So I'm in the middle of that. And Hands Across America, right now it's hands across Kauai, hands across this land. It's simple to write a song. Every song I write is about a real person, real place, real thing, real happening. Like somebody told me, Larry, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'll cry a lot today. Wow, what a title. I'll be leaving tomorrow. I'll just write a song. And of course, Wale Ale, I wrote it 60 years ago in half an hour because of its beauty of Wale Ale. And everybody knows about Kamalani, so I don't even know there.
Wale Ale seem to call. Land of rain and waterfall. Be by my side, to be by your side. Why Aloha? Why Aloha? It is Kauai is magic. Kauai, my island of love. Kauai is love. Kauai is magic. Kauai is more than I had ever dreamed about.
So it was quite exciting to grow with Coco Palms. I'm there 66 years now come tomorrow. I still do weddings and renewals there, and I can marry people. So thank you. God bless all of you for being good to me and supporting me and my family. My wife Gloria been at my side all the time. My 3 daughters, Leilani, Elima, Lurleen. My 3 sons are in the mainland. They're all married, blonde, Howley girls, and they're all happy with beautiful kids. And Lurleen is here tonight with me, and we're going to sing together on this beautiful night in Kalapaki Bay. So thank you, everybody. God bless all of you, and keep smiling, and remember the Lord.
In the midst of and rotten, Mother Nature made her home, and the fall of Wailua, where Larry often roamed, I return to my island across the sea. In the midst of and rotten, Mother Nature made her home. The falls of Wailua, where lovers often roam, I return to my island across the sea. Beautiful Kauai.
What a natural tradition.
Beautiful Kauai.
Kauai.
Beautiful Kauai.
We're going to be hearing a lot more from Larry Rivera, getting introduced to Coco Palms, his family, and all the great things, many of the great things, I should say, that he has done historically here on our beautiful Garden Island, Kauai. Now, how did Larry Rivera end up in a gig at Cafe Portofino? Remember, he's been playing here for about 7 or 8 years, every Wednesday evening between 7 and 9. So if you're looking for live entertainment, you want to know about Coco Palms, you want to hear a little bit about his good friend Elvis Presley, and more importantly, if you want to dine here at Cafe Portofino. How did he get here, you ask? Well, let's talk to the owner and proprietor of Cafe Portofino, Giuseppe Avocati.
Well, you know, he's a legend on the island. Then one day he just walked in here, looked at the room, and he told me, I want to play here. And that's history. I said, it's your room, Larry, whenever you want. And it was amazing. He says to me, well, I'm going to come and play tomorrow night. I says, Larry, that's not possible. I says, tomorrow, you have to advertise, you have to... He says, no. I come here, everybody will come. To tell you the truth, I didn't believe it. But sure enough, that's what happened. Next evening he was there, no advertising, nothing, the place was packed.
Well, you know, so it's incredible because, first of all, thank you for allowing Larry Rivera, but the music, the passion, the audience, the love, the friendships, those that he's met for a long time, they come all from all walks, shapes, sizes, and all
Yes,
backgrounds.
They come from all over the United States. Everybody follows him. It's unbelievable. It's like the Piper. Everybody comes here, asks for Larry. I get calls from all over the United States. He's still performing, and it's amazing. You know, Larry is the true Aloha spirit. I've been in this island 39 years, and I have to say it's incredible.
Excuse me, Giuseppe, but did you used to go to Coco Palms? And did you remember seeing Larry Rivera performing, doing the torch lighting ceremony?
Yeah, I did few times, but for me it was all new at the time. You know, I saw all of this. I really didn't quite understand, you know, the island because I was on a cruise ship. So we would be here twice a week, you know, and of course I would go all over the island. Excuse me. And but I knew the place, you know, I learned about the place that was historical, you know, with Elvis Presley and all the background and all the things that happened here. And beside that, I had seen the movies, with Elvis Presley, so it was amazing. Yes.
So when you decided, I mean, everybody knows your history. You were at different places located in Lihui, and yeah, of course. And when going back to when you said, "Oh, Larry Rivera walked in and said, and I want to go play." How long has he been here?
He's been here about, I would say about 7 or 8 years, somewhere in there, about 8 years, yeah.
That's pretty crazy, if you ask me. Huh?
Oh, like I say, I couldn't believe it, and so it's part of the family here. I mean, this is his hangout.
Giuseppe Avocati, when we talk about Larry Rivera, about knowing him about 7 or 8 years, the reality is he's turning 87 years old. I mean, this dude doesn't skip a beat. He's got a memory like nobody else's business. He walks, he drives, and I say this very humbly because my mom is not well. She can't drive. She's wheelchair. She can't think. She doesn't understand everything. But to converse with this guy, but for him to press a memory button, that's pretty crazy.
It's incredible. It's just incredible. I mean, this person is amazing. And the way you remember names, anniversary, birthdays, I'm speechless sometimes. I look at him and says, "Larry, how do you know this?" He says, "Oh, I just remember. They're my friends."
For the benefit of our viewing audience, and we just want to remind everybody, you're here at Cafe Portofino, if I'm not mistaken, 245-2121, which has been your number for a long time.
Yes, a long
You're right here at Kalapaki Beach. You're at the Marriott. You're adjacent to Deuce Canoe Club.
Yeah.
Why don't you take this opportunity to invite people to come on over and go, not just come to say aloha, but more importantly, Larry plays on Wednesday evenings from 7 to 9.
Yeah, every week. Yes, and I have to say that Kauai has been wonderful to me. I have a wonderful clientele. I've been open 29 years, and I'm here by the beach, beautiful place, and I really appreciate the people of Kauai for, have me here, taking me in like one of the locals, and it's really wonderful. I want to thank everybody. And please, keep coming to Cafe Portofino. I like to take care of all of you.
So let's just get clarified. When Larry plays, can people just walk in and listen? Are they obligated for cover charge or anything?
No, absolutely not. They can just come in. They can sit at the bar. They can sit at the table. They can have a drink. It's just open.
And obviously that's great exposure because once they see the buzz, everything happening, and all that other fun stuff, then they.
Yes. Well, Larry creates a wonderful ambience, and he creates such an aloha spirit that, people, when they leave this show, they just, first of all, they're speechless, and then they just can't believe the spirit that he creates inside this room. And the people are happy they are. They just love this man. They just love it. It's unbelievable.
And Giuseppe, for guys like us that know a lot of people, and we look around and we see him making everybody laugh, we just sit there, crack up, like, what the heck is going on? Huh?
Exactly. Sometimes he's just like a kid, he just says funny things, and I don't know where they come from, but they come. Just an amazing person.
And there's no place. Now when I say, like Cafe Portofino, clap so my boss gives me a raise. And there's no place like Cafe Portofino.
Welcome back, Kauai. Of course, we just recently celebrated the 87th birthday, Haole Lahanau, to the legendary Larry Rivera. Now, interestingly speaking, we had an opportunity to catch up with him and his family at pretty much, I think it was a surprise birthday party for his 80th birthday at the Kauai Veterans Center. Let's check this out. Reminisce our very dear friend, the legendary Uncle Larry Rivera.
I never expected that many people, and as soon as I entered, the manager of the Grand Hyatt presented me with a beautiful lei of pakalana, and then I stepped in and two conch shell blowers, Tom Fujimoto and Nelson Kai, blew the conch shell and the entire place stood up and gave me a standing ovation. And I thought I was dreaming. It was just like the end of a movie or something. It was just awesome. I'll remember that for the rest of my life, how beautiful it was. Come Where is my love, Kamalani? Please answer me, Kamalani. Oh, here I am, Kamalani. Here in this paradise, please come to me, Kamalani. When nights are still, Kamalani. You can hear the voice of Pukanui. It beckons you, Kamalani. We'll be together again. Kamalani, Kamalani. Is this the fullness of heaven? Here in this paradise, please come to me, Kamalani. When nights are still, Kamalani. You can hear the voice of Pukanui. It beckons you, Kamalani. We'll be together again. Kamalani, Kamalani. You'll hear the sound of his voice here in this paradise. Kamalani, Kamalani. You'll hear the sound of his voice here in this paradise. Kamalani.
You know, speaking of beautiful, you've been married happily to Gloria from Kunia on the outskirts of Schofield Barracks for 55 loving years. What a treat to have not only your wife, but your kids, Larry Jr. I mean, everybody came from all over the place, but to have your kids on stage entertaining with you, that's probably every man's dream, to be with his wife and his family.
Yes, God has blessed me with all those gifts of entertainment and talent that He bestowed upon me and my family. And I have 3 sons and 3 daughters. And of course, my sons live in the mainland, and they all came for the birthday. And of course, Leilani, Ilima, and Lurleen, they're fantastic entertainers in their own right.
When we when we are here, of course, we are here at Coco Palms, and to have not only your family, but your friends from all over the world and your friends here locally on Kauai to share that wonderful evening with you must a little bit been kind of chicken skin and a tearjerker, because I'm sure you haven't seen a lot of your friends for a long time.
Yes, a lot of them came from the mainland, from Massachusetts, Oregon, Texas, Missouri, and Washington, Tacoma, and the people that live here, you hardly get to see them until they come to my show at the Cafe Portofino, and it was a chicken skin event for me. I'll never forget it. Aloha, and God bless each and every one of you, and you, Dickie Chang, who's doing so much for our island too. You have Aloha spirit and even more.
There is only one Mr. Aloha here on this island of Kauai. You know, I mentioned to the viewing audience that we are here at Coco Palms. I mean, you've been here from 1951, I guess before it really was Coco Palms. I don't know your history,
Yeah.
bellman, busboy, I mean, everybody.
Bartender.
But pretty much everything prior to being an entertainer. And once I guess you picked up the ukulele, the rest is history. It was
It wasn't meant to be. I just naturally did what I like to do, is to please people, to make people happy. And I never thought I was going to be a composer or recording artist. I never dreamed of that. But you know, my gang at McDonald's, there's Slugger and oh boy, I can't remember all their names. That's the second thing that goes when you reach my age. Gordon 1, Gordon 2, and Mr. Aki. They're all there. We meet every day at McDonald's in Walmart, and that's where we relax and exchange the three items we talk about there is who had the last operation, what kind of medication we're taking, and Las Vegas, our ninth island.
you actually, you know, had medical problems of your own. You had a lot of different history, but you know, you've remarkably bounced back, and we've spent several of these times with you after you bounced back. Tell us a little bit about some of the plights of scary moments, mind you.
Yeah, I had major operations, and I lost a foot of my intestines, and they did other things that make me feel great now. I think they bought another part from Walmart and put it in me because it's working pretty good. And then my heart attack, it's a good thing. I heard my heart beating so fast, and that's when I took 2 aspirins right away and called someone to take me to the hospital, and that saved my life. So remember, whenever you feel like something coming on, take 2 aspirins. This is not a commercial. It's a paid political announcement.
Welcome back. We hope that you're enjoying some of the many highlights of the life of Larry Rivera. Now remember, Larry Rivera turned 87 years old. What's the big fuss about Larry Rivera? Well, it's because I love Larry Rivera, and so does everyone else, the locals and the visitors and locals alike, the locals and the visitors alike. But nonetheless, everybody knows Larry Rivera as Mr. Coco Palms, and sad but true, Coco Palms still remains closed. However, we had the permission and the opportunity to catch up with Larry Rivera right there in his old stomping grounds at Coco Palms. Again, Mr. Coco Palms, Larry Rivera. There might be a little sadness because you remember the times of the past, but I still feel that you got a lot of peace and joy because this is really, you know, your home.
Yes, when I walk in this place, this beautiful Coconut Grove and Hotel, I can hear it in my ears. I can visualize all the beauty that happened here, from Queen Deborah Kapuli's pageant every August 26th to New Year's Eve, to Prince Kuhio Day, to the bunny coming down the lagoon here for hundreds of little children that Mrs. Guslander used to put on, and the Christmas party. Santa Claus came down in the lagoon, and Menehune Santa also is sung on that day, and the torch lighting, the shows, the weddings, the nightcap with Larry, and all of this still rings in my ears. And the father of golf, Mr. E. Brown, I wrote a song for his girlfriend, Winona Love, and I was so shocked when I went to home and looked at my mailbox. There was an envelope in there from him for a very nice amount of money for a song that I wrote just out of love, not for money. But so I am grateful that my music has brought me some income to my life to support my children. So God is there with me all the time.
You know, funny you say that because a lot of other people, namely very famous entertainers to say the least, you know, including the king himself, Elvis Presley, he also tried to, you know, purchase and wanted to remake a lot of your originals.
Yes, I Search for Love was the song he loved, and I'm writing. And those are the only two songs I wrote when I met him. Later on, to write Kamalani, Waiale Ale, The Whole World Looks to Hawaii. Right now, I don't want to say goodbye to America. It's going to be sung in the USS Harry Truman aircraft carrier to all the galleys in the ship, and they're going to take me there in a jet plane. I hope I can take that flight.
You know, actually, what's very, very interesting, you talk a little bit about people wanting to rewrite your music or are very appreciative of it, whether it's as a gift or people just want to share their aloha with you financially. But I guess you could actually be considered a singer, songwriter, composer as a teenager.
Well, I never thought of that. I'm not a musician. I'm an entertainer. I'm not. They made me the best musician on Kauai on that with Barbara Bennett's thing. But I told her, I said, there are so many better musicians. I'm just an entertainer. And I humbly say that.
You know, what's very interesting is that when we see you the way you are when you do weddings or when you entertain, I kind of like joked because nowadays you cannot find white double knit pants anywhere because I try to find them for different luau's or different gigs or emceeing gigs. And then I was asking how old it was, and funny because Bruce was asking how many of these combination pairs you got.
Not only that, try find this shirt. You can't find it anymore. You know, it looks nice. It's formal Hawaii for entertainment. I love it.
Welcome back, Kauai. Let's head back on over to the legendary Coco Palms. There we had an opportunity to catch up with our very dear friend, Mr. Larry Rivera, and we asked about his earlier days there at Coco Palms. Today, when a group came here on a tour of Coco Palms, you know, they can see the silent beauty of what they saw for many years as a kid. But when you walked up to the group, I'm sure the tour bus drivers get to say that they're meeting a legend. But they just marveled when you said, "Do you know my name?" And they all went Larry Rivera, because I think a lot of them probably called their moms or dads or brothers and sisters from the ship and says, "Guess what? I'm going to meet Larry Rivera."
Yeah, and I tell them no relation to Geraldo. And that's funny. And then I take them out to this grove and sing Wale Ale, Aloha Begins With Me, and Kamalani. Those are my big songs right now.
Uncle Larry, what was or what is the motivation and the background behind Aloha Begins With Me?
Well, it began with Aloha is the spirit of Kauai. They were looking for a campaign name, the county and the Visitors Bureau. And I came up with that and the song, Aloha, it's the spirit of Kauai. And the temple, the Hindu temple, made this card of that song. So that was put away, and then the business leaders of Kauai and council there, and they were looking for a new campaign name, and we all met in different groups at the Memorial Convention Hall, and we at one side had a blackboard, and they were putting all the names of Aloha is this, Aloha is that, and Aloha Aloha is the spirit. And then I said it out loud. I said, what about Aloha Begins With Me? And this girl said, Larry just said Aloha Begins With Me. That's great. So they adapted it. And so I wrote that song, Aloha Begins With Me, in honor of Mayor Brian Baptiste. Aloha, when I drive on down to town, traffic is slowing down. I smile and say aloha. On this island of many races, we have met with all God's graces. Aloha begins with
Just as a little footnote, Mayor Brian J. Baptiste, the late mayor, suddenly passed away sadly in June of 2008. One of his goals was to recognize those with the Aloha spirit that portrays the Aloha spirit, so important here on our Garden Island Kauai. His goal was to start the awards called Mea Ho'omana'o. Mea Ho'omana'o actually was introduced soon after the death of Mayor Baptiste, and I believe the campaign launched there in October of 2008, and of course, Mr. Larry Rivera debuted the song. Just recently, our Kauai Chamber of Commerce were able to acknowledge the recipients of this year's Mea Ho'omana'o, and those recipients are, and we say this very, very proudly, Mr. Richard Wa'alani Sr. Uncle Richard Wa'alani Sr. was, of course, in front of his families and his very, very dear friends, as he was honored with our very dear friend, the acting county engineer, along with his lovely wife, Vianne Tabata, and that, of course, will be our acting county engineer, Mr. Lyle Tabata. Go Pack Go, big fan of the Green Bay Packers. And last but certainly not least, here on our Garden Island of Kauai, the owner proprietor of Ink Spots there in Lihue, none other than Marinelle Valenzuela. All of these, Uncle Richard Wa'alani, of course, Lyle Tabata, and Marinelle Valenzuela has a lot of credentials and a lot of things that we need to bless them with. We're going to catch them up on a later date here on Vala'au, but congratulations to the Mea Ho'omana'o recipients for the calendar year 2017. We had an opportunity to enjoy and embrace and to share aloha there recently at the Kauai Beach Resort. The place was packed. But again, Mea Ho'omana'o, the vision of the late, great Mayor Brian J. Baptiste, the vision, Mea Ho'omana'o, Uncle Richard Wa'alani Sr., Lyle Tabata, and of course, Marinelle Valenzuela. We'll be right back, and when we come back, we'll be speaking a little bit more and introducing you, we already know him, to our very dear friend, the legendary Uncle Larry Rivera. Welcome back, Kauai. Of course, we are featuring the living legend here in our Garden Island of Kauai, Uncle Larry Rivera. Now, we caught up with him, of course, at Coco Palms. He is Mr. Coco Palms. It remained closed and remains closed, but I think he still has the permission to do weddings there at Coco Palms itself. We caught up with him at Coco Palms, and we asked him, hey, Uncle Larry, how are you feeling? And tell us a little bit about the music and the background about many of the music and the songs that you have recently written here on our Garden Island of Kauai. Importantly, 80 years young, and as you mentioned, you are 80, but you don't feel 80.
That's right. I just feel normal. Nothing's happened to me. I feel fine.
You know, we are here at the world famous lagoon. Tell us the story about what exactly had happened with the frog, with Grace Gustlander, Larry write a song, and the next thing you know, Kamalani was born.
Okay, I was homesick with the flu, and Miliana Soon, Mrs. Sheldon's sister, wrote The Legend of the Frog for the frog rooms. They had each room, there was a frog wing here, and each room had a frame with the entire legend. And the legend tells about a handsome young prince who lived in Pihanakalani, and that's where I live. I'm not a handsome young prince, but he came down to Coco Palms and fell in love with the granddaughter of a high chief. Her name was Kamalani, which means child of heaven or heavenly child. And Grandma said, you better come home before the sun sets or you're going to be transformed into a frog. He didn't make it, and he was transformed into a frog. And to this day, you can hear him in this lagoon. Just the other day I came on, you could hear him. But the story goes on where Mrs. Gustlander called me, don't stay home sick with the flu. Write a song about a frog. And I said, a frog? So I said, yes, Mrs. Gustlander. You know, she would never take no for an answer. So I hung up the phone, and the very instant, right out my window, I heard the bird. I looked out the window, it was a beautiful bird, not knowing that there is a bird in the legend. And so I looked at the legend and put the words and the music together, and I got that. But in the story, it says the frog sang late hours of the night by the bar and the lagoon dining room. And that's what I did. And the scary part is the frog had a birthmark in the center of his forehead, which I have. So how you figure that out? And so Israel Kamaka Viva Ole wanted me to go on a little, paid all our trip, me and Gloria, and took care of our hotel, our airlines. He just wanted to meet Larry Rivera, who wrote the song. And so that's how I wrote Israel Kamaka Viva Ole at his bedside when he was not well at all. And so that's the story of Kamalani. It was written not for my granddaughter. I named my granddaughter after the song.
And the most interesting part about it is that you, Mahele, gave Israel the Aloha to use Kamalani,
That's right.
which was incredible. And what was probably equally as incredible, you wrote a song for Brother Iz, and I believe the time that you sang it for us
Yes.
was like the day or so
Yes,
after
that's
he
right.
passed away.
It's so chicken skin because the people that recorded that song with me all passed away at young ages. And that's so sad that they were wonderful musicians.
I stand here at Coco Palms like many other people. We all have memories, those that have experienced Coco Palms. But I remember as a then young tour director in and around the early years of 1981 when we all used to go to the reception with Mrs. Gustlander and with Big John Ka'o. And the next thing you know, myself and my guest was over here for the prime rib dinner and to go see the Larry Rivera show and all the little
make them
Ilimas
dance,
and Lurleen
Hukilao.
and, Leilani. I mean, everybody were young keikis entertaining in front of hundreds and thousands yearly.
People are meeting me today at my show that say, Larry, when I was 11 years old, I met you, and I've been following your music ever since. In the video, there's a man's name there, Paulus, and he just the other day said he followed me from when he was 11 years old. And they grew up, and they look older than I am for some reason.
How do you describe your humor? No, I don't think a lot of people know your humor side.
Well, it comes naturally. I mean, when the opportunity arrives and they mention a subject, it just comes to my head. It's a natural thing to talk about some jokes that happen in my real life, like Charlie, Charlie Pereira, he's a living treasure too. Charlie, I bought a brand new hearing aid today. He said, what kind is it? I said, it's 230.
I've known Larry for a long time. We both worked at Coco Palms. And when he took sick, I made sure that I stood by his side. And I hope God will keep him. Thank you.
Aloha everybody and welcome again to Larry Rivera's Love and Aloha Show. With a coconut tree you can make many things, Jay Farfaro. Jay and Jay over there. Everybody clap after the word coconuts. 3 times real fast. Coconuts, 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 coconuts. Upon the tree so high. All over these tropic islands, climbing up to the sky. Coconuts, coconuts, coconuts. You give us many things, hats, toys, and candy rings for all to enjoy. Let this be your warning early in the morning. If you do, you'll never lose a day. Now the princess Babuli and Patty Papaya. She loves to give it away. I mean papaya. She loves to give it away. She couldn't sell it. She loves to give it away.
Behind every successful man, obviously, there is a wonderful woman in the background. Tell us a little bit about your stint in the Army at Schofield Barracks and how you met your lovely bride of 55 years, Gloria.
Well, I used to go to the Post Chapel every Sunday, and Gloria lived in Cuneo Camp, right next to Schofield. That was the nearest church, so she used to go there. And her godfather introduced us together, because he was in the Army too. And we all hung out together, and we had dancing clubs and It was called Ka'ala Club, and we went dancing, and she tried to match make me with her two friends. And when I started dancing, she didn't know I was a teacher of ballroom dancing, and she liked that because she liked dancing. And so we got together, and I looked across the crowded room and saw her, and I said, something hit me. I knew that she was going to be in my life forever. And she doesn't remember that. I said, do you remember me looking at you and you looked straight at me and wow. She said, no, she doesn't remember. I do. And so we're happily married at 55 years, and we have talented girls and wonderful sons.
Beautiful. Well, we want to just take this opportunity. You know, it's truly an honor. You're a fine young man. You're a great American. You're a great Hawaiian. But take this opportunity to share your aloha out to not only your family and your friends, but, you know, everybody on this island of Kauai and, you know, statewide and, you know, Perry and Price. I mean, worldwide. I mean, just share your aloha and remind everybody that aloha begins with me.
Yes, aloha begins with me, meaning everybody, not me personally, but you. So if you, everybody says aloha begins with me, it's not me, but you. And so the more aloha is said out to the world, the better life we'll all have. And protect this island, keep it clean, pick up the rubbish, don't litter, please. And we all are proud of our heritage here, and the whole world looks to this beautiful place, and that's why I wrote the song, The Whole World Looks to Hawaii. It's people, it's love, and aloha. They look each day to the way we pray with men of every creed. The whole world comes to Hawaii to search for a life that is free. We work, we pray, we sing and play together in harmony.
The whole world looks to Hawaii. It's people, it's love, and aloha. They look each day to the way we pray with men of every creed. The whole world comes to Hawaii to search for a life that is free. We work, we play, we sing and pray together in harmony. I traveled away from this paradise and saw much grief and sorrow. I'm back today, and to God I pray. I hope the whole world will follow. We're proud to be of this nation. We share our love with the world. Together we stride in this world side by side, for the whole world looks to Hawaii. The whole world
our beautiful island.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Vala'au. As always, we'd like to sincerely thank each and every one of you for watching Vala'au and making us a part of your weekend and week out festivities here in our beautiful garden land in Kauai. Remember, please, if you can, help to kukua the sponsors. Obviously, it is the sponsors that make Vala'au possible week in and week out. Directly behind me, of course, you can see Cafe Portofino. Cafe Portofino on every Wednesday evenings. If you want to go check out the legendary Larry Rivera, of course, his family members and wife Gloria. Every Wednesday evening, he plays here from 7 to 9. You're going to have a great time. Learn about Coco Palms, learn about the past, learn about the trivia. But Mr. Larry Rivera recently just turned 87 years young. And by the way, if you want to check out Cafe Portofino, you can call them direct at 245-2121, 245-2121, and say a big mahalo and aloha to our very dear friend, Giuseppe Avocati. Now, if you notice, in conjunction with Cafe Portofino, right next door, of course, is Duke's Canoe Club. Duke's Canoe Club recently just celebrated their 28th anniversary here in our Garden Island, Kauai. And by the way, trivia purposes, I remember being there at the opening evening and afternoon there 28 years ago at Duke's Canoe Club. So we have an opportunity to talk to Jaime Areola and reminisce all the great things happening at Duke's Canoe Club in the past 28 years. It is time for us to heli on. As always, us all, please continue to take care of our families, our friends, and neighbors, the Malahini and the Aina. And we just want to let you folks, next week, Tuesday, as we all know, is Halloween. So it's getting darker a lot earlier right now. The sun is probably setting a little bit before 6 o'clock. You're going to see a lot of trick-or-treaters, and many of them will probably be out as early as 5:30. But please remember, 6:30, 6:45, it's already pitch black dark. So if you're around the neighborhoods itself, drive very, very, very slowly. Watch out for the kids, and of course, parents, please let up the kids, jack-o'-lantern, flashlight, make sure that they're bright, visible, and of course that they are escorted. So let's just make sure it's a great, safe, happy Halloween to all of us here on the Garden Island of Kauai. Lastly, again, a special mahalo out to Mr. Larry Rivera and friends. You know the thing that impresses me? I think he has 6 kids, I don't know, so many grandkids. He got so much great-grandkids. But the most impressive part is Uncle Larry Rivera can still name each and every one of them. Check it out.
And their names are
Kamalane, Lanui Lane, Kuipa Kamali, Makali, Pulele, Patricia Lake, Jonah Kiavi, Pukane Nui, Sam, Skipper, Stephanie Makialane, Ariel Lelane Kaunauna Lalane, which means fragrant leaves of heaven, Micah Dedin Fernandez, Victoria Joy, Mahina Miller Baxter, Kai Kia Kanalo, Caligastin, Coejo, Salina Kia Reverse of Kamali Ramson, Leilani Page from Tacoma, Washington, Kai Kia, Kai Kona, Ezekiel, Angelina, Dadrian, Jaden, Noah, Sean, Josiah, Banzai, Hilinai, Ibrahim, Among, Parker, and now Cash. And the latest one is, oh yeah, I remember. The name of this one is Vala'au.